Okay, we are live.
Awesome.
How's it
What
going?
kind of horrible shit are we talking about today?
You're about to find out, but we'll give people, I don't know, 60 seconds to get in here. Anything you want to rant about while we're waiting, and then I have like a little intro once people are actually on here. Hopefully you'll enjoy.
No,
It's not a video, it's just a rant.
I was actually gonna start with an apology for both of us for not showering and wearing hats. And I
Thank
think,
you. Thank you
yeah,
for putting me out there like that.
yes, no, I'm happy to do it. They'll know, man. They can smell
We're
you. They
not
can
we're,
smell you
we're
too.
not we're not in different rooms in the same house, by the way. We are on different coasts.
You know, there's only a few thousand miles between us, and we're both, adults who probably should have showered by now today. Yeah.
Yeah, you're making an excellent point. Thank you for that. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, I actually left a sunscreen on my face. I was hoping it would make me less red, less radishy today.
Less, yeah, well, looking good, man. All
Good.
right, well, here's a little intro for folks. I was going to say, welcome back to the weekly therapy session. I am your therapist, Adam Parkhomenko, and with me is my patient, Sam Youngman. Sam, how the hell are you doing today?
Well, Doc, I've been better.
For those just tuning in, by the way, right before we hit live, I heard an "oh fuck," and I think I saw a splash or something.
Yeah, yeah, I had one of those moments. You know how when you don't knock one thing over, you knock several things over, but it starts with one thing, and it's like you watch the dominoes fall. I had one of those that ended with my Topo Chico, my delicious Mexican mineral water going everywhere. But it's water, so it'll be fine.
That water really is the best. Yeah, I've started to try to tape everything down in here, which I think is just good in general. But I
What,
definitely got
you
hit.
living on a boat?
I got hit by a softbox light when the dogs heard thunder the other day, and it just came
Oh
crashing
God.
down. So I
Oh,
learned my
bless their
lesson
hearts.
there.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to try something slightly different, but kind of pretty much the same as we've been doing. But I was looking at this one. I want to show you one headline, and then I want to go over a couple things that were in the newsletter today. In the event that folks had additional questions relating to that or could ask questions, but I thought it'd be kind of nice if we actually talked about the newsletter for once.
Yeah.
So I want to pull up this headline that I was looking at while you were surfing, and just kind of get some of your thoughts on it.
Am I looking for something?
Trump weighed pardoning Maxwell for the fears she would spill secrets about his decade-long friendship with Epstein, according to Michael Wolff. This is a Daily Beast article that posted, and I think it's something that we all,
Yeah.
knew was out there, but wanted to put it out there and get your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always torn because Michael Wolff is full of shit, but this seems completely believable. I don't
It's
need
like
Mike.
Tulsi Gabbard, right?
That's it. Like every once in a while, these idiots get something right, and it's just the most unsettling thing in the world. But I don't need Michael Wolff to tell me that Trump wished Elaine Maxwell. I wish her well. We all saw that. I don't need Michael Wolff to tell me Trump was Epstein's best friend for 15 years. We knew that too. One of the things I'm always stuck on. Is when there's that video of Trump talking about his buddy Epstein, and he's like, "Yes, they say he enjoys women as much as I do, maybe on the younger side," and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's time for one of those classic "What did he know and when did he know it?" questions. My guess is he knew a lot, and he knew it from the beginning. Uh, but yeah, it's so weird to be aligned with like the fucking weirdest asshole nut jobs on the internet, and seeing a cover up here. By the way, I just want to say, I see you in the chat saying the Paxton divorce is so delicious. I couldn't agree more. We got to talk about that in a minute.
That someone else said that, right?
Yeah.
Oh. You know what? So this is like really throwing me off because, I've got a son named Paxton and it's tattooed to my arm. So I really wish that this guy would just, disappear, but we're going to make sure
Now
that
you know how Matt Gertz feels.
yeah, pretty much every single time. When you said Paxton, I was like, "Uh-oh," because the other day he almost live streamed Miss Rachel when he was sitting at my desk, and
I
he's
love
getting
her.
really
She's so
good at that
great.
stuff. So she is. I did find that video you mentioned about Epstein and Trump. I'll show that later. But anyhow,
Damn, that's fast, man. Nice work.
Yeah, no, thanks. We're getting there. But one thing I was going to say though about the Michael Wolff thing, the one thing I putting aside whatever, I do love the fact that Donald Trump is like, are we still talking about this?
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about it, and we're going to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And like, I know there's been a lot of criticism of the DNC, but I saw that they launched today a Epstein bot account on Twitter that is tracking, each day whether or not the files have been released. So
Oh,
I thought that
wow.
was like the type of stuff that
Yeah.
we need to see more of. All right. Anyways, moving
Yeah,
on from that.
I
So
wanted to real quick, just I wanted to send some props to Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. He's been really on top of this shit, really twisting the knife here. And the only thing I like about Trump is that he makes it really obvious when you're getting under his skin. Like when you're pissing him off, he doesn't know how to play it cool. He lets you know, okay, this is pissing me off. So the guys like us, we know to keep doing that shit. The way he snapped, are we still talking about this? Oh, you're goddamn right, we're still talking about it. But like, yeah, it's just so weird to agree with Roseanne about anything these days.
it really is. I mean, I'm still blocked by her, by the way.
Oh, that's a shame.
She's attacked both Allie and I.
Mm.
Okay, so let's see if this works, and then if you don't like
She's
it,
she's
we can
blocking
do it.
she's blocking deodorant and self-respect too.
Oh my God. I just it's one of the it's a weird thing to like grow up, right? You don't like I didn't have cable and we never had like frosted flakes or anything like that, nothing sweet in the house. And I
Dude,
was
you were
limited to
missing out.
basically,
Frosted Flakes are fucking
yeah,
awesome.
I was limited to Roseanne. Oh, I didn't have my first cavity until like 25 though. Um, Limited to Roseanne and Seinfeld and the X Files and Friends and the fact that Roseanne, this woman that would pop up on my TV, was later in life publicly attacking me. Just kind of wish that the younger me knew that was going to happen one day.
I tell you,
Okay, so let's.
my late mother really nailed Roseanne early. I remember laughing at that show, and my mom said she's just so trashy, and so that was a very astute observation, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that she was 100% on top of that.
She used to tell
Um,
me, one of these days you're going to find out I'm always right, and I'll be damned.
I'm sure that's not the only thing that you learn later on in life she was right about.
Oh, no question about it.
So today, this is our newsletter today for the folks that have not seen it yet. I'm gonna go
Oh, that's
back
cool.
here.
Yeah,
So
we're actually
today,
live at the top
this
of
is our newsletter
our
today
page
for
right
the
now. I
folks
need to
that
mute
have
this
not
one. We're gonna
seen
get
it
double
yet. I'm gonna
video.
go
Oh, that's
back
cool.
here. Anyway, so we're back here. We're on the newsletter, and what I want to do is this. In your opener, you said that Trump makes coffee more expensive like an idiot and mentions he is threatening Brazil with 50% tariffs. What's the backstory for folks here? How real is this risk? What's your kind of like deeper thought? Because a lot of times for folks that are reading this newsletter, they're only seeing, a sentence or two. But as you're kind of piecing together that, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, Trump is basically sending out a call to the world's dictators that he's got their back, and that he'll use the U.S. economy to work his will in that regard. So Bolsonaro is Brazil's Trump, right? He loses an election and he says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna attempt a coup," just like Trump. Except Brazil's laws worked better. They actually like stopped him. They arrested him. He's going on trial. Like they basically did what we should have done, just like South Korea is doing what we should have done. Anyway, Trump can't have it. And just last week, we saw him basically threaten Israel to cut off military supplies if they went ahead with Netanyahu's corruption trial. And then lo and behold, the trial gets postponed. It's really obvious he's trying to do the same shit in Brazil. I think the thing he didn't count on is Brazil saying "fuck you." I think they know that they actually hold a lot of cards here because we get a shitload of coffee and orange juice from them. And so, a 50% tariff, we're all going to be paying for that. And if you know anything about Americans, is that you should not fuck with our coffee. If you want to see some really, really angry, sleepy
Or if you
people,
know anything about Sam,
well, there's that. Yeah, I'm speaking. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm including the whole country. I'm doing what Trump does. Um, but yeah. So anyway, Trump is again using the U.S. economy like a weapon, trying to free his fellow dickhead dictators around the world. And Yeah, it's another situation where I find myself rooting for the other country instead of us because we're the ones acting like assholes.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's true.
Yeah.
Let's shift to RIP to America's space program. Who's Shawn Duffy and what is happening at NASA?
Who's Shawn Duffy is such a great fucking question that I wish I didn't know the answer to. Shawn Duffy is the Secretary of Transportation. If you've seen him, it's most likely been on Fox News, where he cries like a chicken shit and pisses his pants at the thought of riding the subway like 4 million people in New York do every goddamn day, including little kids who are going to school. But the thought just, I mean, you can see Shawn Duffy tremble on television at the thought of taking public transit in New York. Before that, he was just a Fox talking head, and before that, he was on the Real World Road Rules Challenge. So another person from the reality TV fraternity who's now in a job he has no business holding, and that job is, well, transportation secretary to begin with. But Trump has just named him interim director of NASA. This is a good news, bad news situation. The bad news is there's a complete fucking idiot in charge of NASA now, which means that place is a joke. The agency's losing 2,000 senior people. So, our space program is just Elon now. The good news is if you ever wanted to be director of NASA, it now seems like a completely attainable goal. Like I mean, seriously, fill out your
I
application.
mean,
It
same
is
same for
easy to
those
get
that
that
grew up
job.
wanting to be the director of the FBI.
Who did?
I said same for those that grew up wanting
Oh,
to be the director of the
yeah.
FBI
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hell,
or a
even being
member of
president. I
Congress.
mean, the bar is fucking low, man. If you can step over it, you can have these jobs.
I mean, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
So
for
yeah.
that.
Anyway, so our space program now, I guess, is just whatever the AI Hitler guy Elon wants to do. I don't know. It's crazy to me. I think that some of this country's biggest wins came courtesy of NASA, and the way we've just dismantled it and sold it off for parts should be a national disgrace. But nobody seems to give a shit anymore.
Yeah, it's whatever he wants to do or whatever Grok wants to do, I think.
Oh man.
All right, so let's go to which was sort of the headline today. Killer Christie. What did Christie Nome allegedly do, Sam, and why are you calling it a scandal?
So Christy Nome, has been all over
I'm
TV
trying to sound
telling.
really objective here, by the way.
Yeah, no, no, no. I like it. I really appreciate your interview style. It's very leading, and I like that. I also know the answers because I wrote the shit this morning. Uh, so Christy Nome, who we all know as someone who shot a puppy in the face, former South Dakota governor, current Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. Because our FEMA director is completely missing, nobody has seen nor heard from this guy. Nome has stepped up, stepped in it, I should say, to lead the response to the floods in Texas, which we know have killed more than 100 people. I mean, some of the fucking stories coming out of there are just, I mean, they rip your heart into tiny little pieces. Um, so the question from the beginning is, how the hell were these people not warned? Was it related to Trump's, massive cuts to the Weather Service, to NOAA? And it turns out, CNN reported yesterday, and I can't believe I'm attributing anything to CNN, that the FEMA emergency response team, the search and rescue team, was not on the ground for 72 hours because Nome has put in an order that any expenditure over $100,000 she has to personally approve. So while she was spending all her time on TV kissing Trump's ass, she could have been approving search and rescue efforts. Now I just saw something that I hesitate to say this because I haven't confirmed it, but it's quite believable. I saw somebody say that Mexico had personnel on the ground before FEMA did, and I got to tell you, as somebody
And that
who,
may be very true too, because
yeah,
like it was very early on that we
mhm.
heard that they were on the ground.
Yeah, and it was the same at the LA fires. Like Mexico had personnel here quickly, and it's amazing to me that Mexico is doing more for American citizens right now than the U.S. government is, and we're still, as a country, vilifying them and terrorizing them every day. Um, anyway, to me, this is the kind of thing that used to end with charges, resignation, humiliation. I'm sure she'll be just fine. She was on Fox News this morning spinning it. The crazy thing is, DHS, for all their fake news cries, they've basically admitted this is true. Look, Trump let a drugged out South African take a chainsaw to our fucking government, and there are going to be consequences for that. And these are the consequences. When national disaster happens, there's nobody there to warn us. So, anyway, this is the fucking nightmare way too many people voted for that we're all now living through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. It
Um,
validates. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about these idiots. They can't help but it confessing.
that's true.
Yeah.
And then, as my dad taught me at a young age, and I've always said to you, there's a difference between criminal conspiracies and conspiracy theories, and conspiracy theories are often used to cover up criminal conspiracies.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is the link that we had for those that haven't seen the newsletter or did see the newsletter. I'm going to try to get better at just starting to put up the stories that we're talking about as we figure out how to work all this stuff. But that was the link we had that was referring to that CNN piece. And as
Hey, are we
Sam
getting any
said,
questions? Like, is there anybody in the chat?
we are, yeah. We're gonna get to questions at the end of your session, Sam.
Okay.
That's after the happy ending.
Sure.
Your happy ending is what you call it. Okay, we're gonna remove that. Okay, so walk us through the McDonald's AI cocktail and that bizarre mascot meltdown. What's going on there?
Well, I think it was as much a Sam Youngman meltdown as anything else. I saw that McDonald's had an AI hiring program that basically malfunctioned and like shared everybody's personal data. Its name was Olivia for some reason. I don't know why these fucking Silicon Valley nerds insist on naming these things. It's like they want to make sure that the character in the horror movie has a name. So anyway, Olivia was giving shit away. And my favorite part about this is one of the passwords was 12345 6. If you've ever seen the movie Spaceballs, which we refer to from time to time, this is literally a Mel Brooks joke from Spaceballs, where he says, that's the combination an idiot puts on their luggage. Uh, it's so perfect. I mean, I just assume that whoever did that is going to be working for the Trump administration very soon. But also,
At
God,
Doge.
yeah. The other thing I would note is this didn't happen before Trump started working at McDonald's or did that one, bullshit photo op shift at McDonald's. So I think it's probably safe to say that this is somehow his fault, even if it's not. But yeah,
Let's
man,
go
we're
blame
just,
him.
it's wild to me. We're living in such a dystopian end of times nightmare that even McDonald's has got like a Terminator 2 Skynet program going on now that's fucking up people's lives.
Yeah, and just to add to that, like we literally have cyber trucks on the road that we have to see mixed with ice all over the place.
The good news is there aren't that many of them because nobody bought that ugly shit.
I mean, good point.
I tell you,
Or
I
they've
crack up every time I see one now. I'm just like, you sucker. You're the guy that bought the Homer Simpson car. Like, it's just
and
like,
obviously we don't endorse anything, but there's a lot less on the road because people have done things to them.
yeah, yeah. And we love that Alex Winter and Tesla takedown and
Oh yeah, they're
so,
I mean
well,
just great work.
in addition to like the very real results they achieved, God, they also just did a really good job of reminding me and all of us that people taking the streets still fucking matters. And you can make a difference. You don't have to, wait for the ballot box. You can get out there and, make yourself heard.
It's so true. And so much of the stuff that people are doing is a good version of what Donald Trump has done for so long, which is that like political theater. I mean, if we did this a lot with the protests outside the White House when Trump in his first term came back from Helsinki, right? We had mariachi bands and opera singers. And I mean, you got to do things to make noise and keep them awake, but also to draw attention to like your cause. Otherwise, people just don't care if you're just, talking about it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I don't think, what Trump does is theater because he doesn't believe it. I think what we do, you know, it's a natural outgrowth of some very real emotional pain and anger that we're feeling. We look for ways, I think by and large, the left is a creative side. I think we look for ways to express that anger, to express that rage, and it manifests itself often in very creative endeavors. And
Oh,
it's
totally. Yeah,
it's
that's a good point.
one more reason I'm happy as hell to be on this side instead of the freaks.
Yeah, for sure. And our side does it in a safe way. Unfortunately, there's there's always going to be like 10, 20, 30 people who take advantage of that and try to masquerade behind the left, to do their violence and break into places and all that kind of stuff. But that's just not, an actual insight into our folks that are out there working really hard. It's like during COVID when Biden won and everybody was, banging their pans, you could hear it all around after that election win. Yeah, it was truly incredible. All right, so you also mentioned this morning that Elon's AI bot turning into a rapey Hitler. Yeah. What happened and why wasn't it covered more?
Man, that was fucking wild. So if you haven't seen it, and if you're not on Twitter,
and maybe you. Also, why did it take getting to this point for the CEO to finally leave?
Well, that I can't answer. She sold her so long ago. I don't know. It's shocking to me that she even had a breaking point.
Yeah, it was Grok, apparently.
We could treat it like the New York Times did. Like it's just a total fucking coincidence that she left the day after this bot starts like making disgusting sexual references to her. So Elon has this AI bot called Grok. And Grok has become a massive embarrassment in the last few months because when the right wingers ask Grok if something's true, they get the truth and instead of the Trumpified version of the truth. And so it became this popular thought on the right that Grok has gone woke, mainly because it was taken from legacy media or actual objective reporting. So Elon decides he's going to reprogram Grok, and I'm old, I'm not a tech guy, I don't even know if reprogram's the right word. So anyway, Grok starts spitting out straight up anti-Semitic Nazi shit this week, to the point that it starts referring to itself as Mecha Hitler. Disgusting sexual references to women. I mean, this thing was basically Elon's inner monologue unleashed. Like, it became very clear, like right away, what his America Party will stand for, and it ain't nothing good. The crazy thing to me is that he just kind of moved on. Like Yacarino, she resigned yesterday. The press didn't really connect the dots between the two. And then Elon's on stage yesterday talking about, oh yeah, Grok's going to be in Tesla starting next week. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, where's the massive apology tour? And you realize that he's basically just gotten away with this shit, that, it's fine for him to be an open and avowed Nazi, do Hitler salutes, and people are going to continue to make excuses for him. Not us, of course. We call him out for exactly what the fuck he is. But yeah, man, it's one of those things that if it had happened, 10, 15 years ago when we still had shame in this country, that son-of-a-bitch be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. I thought it was really strange the other day too, where there was a question about Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein, and the response that came from Grok to users looks like it had been written by Elon and loaded in there.
Yeah, he's like answering in the first person. Like, I mean, that's the thing. He's, he's for a genius, he's not that bright. He does a lot of dumb shit.
That's true. All right, so let's go on to the next one here. What's the significance? Well, we kind of talked a little bit about the CEO of Twitter leaving, and
do you want the job? Right. Do you want to be the new CEO of Twitter? All you got to do is like turn a blind eye to all the Nazi shit.
I'd love to buy Twitter and unwind all the damage and shit that he's done to it, but I don't know that it's even fixable at this point.
Yeah, no, it would be nice just to like gift it to the public as like a utility,
and then like just break it. I don't know, break the servers altogether. Like in do you remember what was that movie?
Free Guy?
No, like The Office, where they go and they like break the Xerox copier. Office Space. Yeah.
What is it? The oh shit, the PC load letter. Yeah, the PC load letter's not working. They take it out. Yeah, no. Oh my god, it's like it's one of the best. It's one of the best scenes. I'm trying to remember what
that movie I've seen 100 times. I'm currently now thinking that like I am the guy in the basement with the stapler, and I also like feel the same way driving to work every morning.
You're Milton. You're Milton.
Maybe we're all becoming Milton.
By the way, as much as Ice Cube sucks as a person these days, that song that plays while they're destroying that copier is an all-time.
It's so good. You touched this morning on DOJ whistleblower revelations around the Kilmar case. What's the core allegation and the impact there?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've known from the beginning that DOJ and Trump were openly defying court orders, that they were lying, pretending to, pretending they didn't have any agency, pretending they didn't know where it was, all kinds of different shit. And so this henchman over at DOJ, and I actually got the word from him, Emil Bowe, he has been nominated to be a federal judge of, basically another Eileen Cannon, except somehow more evil. Um, and basically, Dick Durbin found a
An
whistleblower who.
evil Eileen, a more evil Eileen Cannon. That's wild.
Yeah, I know, right? It seems impossible. So yeah, basically Dick Durbin, who I'm not a fan of, he gets this whistleblower who's got all these emails that basically shows, you know, DOJ under Bob, they were just like "fuck you" to the courts. They were trying to sneak around, but more importantly, they kept finding out that the shit they were accusing Kilmar Abrego Garcia of was absolute bullshit, and they didn't care. They just kept smearing him. They just kept looking for shit to use against him. And it's wild to imagine this random Maryland father he's felt the full force of the US government coming after him in an effort to destroy his life just to prove Donald Trump right when he's clearly wrong. And it's one of those things where you realize, you know, whatever guardrails used to exist are a distant memory at this point. If Republicans in the Senate confirm this asshole, it's just, you don't ever want to hear any of their bullshit ever again about being a law and order party. And I know we already don't, but it's getting ridiculous.
No, that's such a good point. And also, not to go off on like a total tangent, but when you talk about Durbin, for me, that's like I think always one of my biggest frustrations day to day and every week is
Mhm.
like Mark Warner one day and then Mark Warner the next. Like, can we just be fucking consistent and like
Yeah.
the same fighters every single day? Same thing with Gavin. It's like, I love a lot of the stuff that he's been saying and doing. I didn't a couple weeks ago. I don't necessarily love that he's in South Carolina and Tennessee with all the shit that's going on while parts of his state are being occupied, but
Yeah. Well,
it's like
it
I
makes
want to
it
lift them up
hard.
when they're doing the right thing, but I also want us to continue to be the people that call them out when they're not.
No, I'm with you, man. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things about our newsletter is that we're not culty like the other side is. We are willing to criticize our own people because we're not in a cult. That are not our heroes. They're public servants. And the thing that you run into, it's like any relationship. Once trust is broken, it's very difficult, sometimes impossible to repair. Ken and Angela Paxton can tell you that. I'm so
It's
excited to
like a
talk about
piece
this
of
story.
china, right?
Yeah,
It breaks and you can kind
sure.
of piece it back together, but if it breaks a second time or a third time, it ain't happening.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. This is fitting in very well in a therapy session, by the way.
Thank you. My rates
So,
just went up.
but basically, I have a hard time, as much as I've cheered on Gavin's response to some of the things Trump has done lately. I don't know that I could ever trust that guy because I've seen him, welcome Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon into his universe. I've seen him, I've seen him be other people. I've seen him be who he thinks he needs to be in a different moment. And it just makes you wonder, is that person going to be there? I mean, we're Democrats. We know what it's like when we bust our asses for a Kirsten Sinema or a John Fetterman. And then the second they get in office, they start shitting all over us and, stuff in their pockets at the same time. Well, that's probably not true for Fetterman. I think he comes from family money. Um, but it's
I thought
just
we're only calling him Uncle Fester.
Uncle Festerman. Yes, I'm sorry. That's actually Uncle Festerman. I think is better. um, yeah, I just before we just got started, I saw some story where he was fucking loser was talking about how proud his parents were of him that Trump said something nice about him. It's like, dude, grow the fuck up, man. Just grow up. Like, oh my god, you want a gold star or something? I mean, anyway,
No, it's so true.
that to me is a problem a lot of these 2028 Democrats have is that they haven't been consistent. Now there are people like JB Pritzker, there are people like Andy
And on this,
Bashir.
Sam, by the way, Sandy had just said, "Where are the leaders?" So that kind of is a segue into what you're saying
Yeah. Well, I mean the
for her
thing
question.
is we know who they are. They're just lonely because there aren't enough of them. Every week I talk about how much AOC is just killing it, unafraid, stepping up, calling shit out. I just mentioned Ron Wyden doing an incredible job. Jasmine Crockett, not afraid. I believe of the 2028 potential 2028 candidates, JB Pritzker out there throwing punches every fucking day. You don't see him equivocating. You don't see him hanging out with Steve Bannon. Andy Bashir, same way. Andy Bashir has been doing media rounds this week talking about just how much Trump's fugly ass bill is going to hurt rural communities like those in Kentucky. That's the kind of messenger who can really, really get through. I think. Well, if anybody can, it's somebody like Andy. Um, we have leaders, but I think the thing we're realizing over
And
and
by the way,
over and
people
over.
forget that Andy literally beat like Trump Jr. Remember Matt Bevin? I know you know Matt Bevin, but like
Yeah.
Trump was there the night before that election and he
Yeah.
just kicked his ass.
Yeah, and now Bevan's in complete disgrace. He's like he abandoned one of his adopted children. It's become like exactly how these Trump stories are. He's just
Sounds
getting
like Matt
divorced.
Gaetz.
Yeah, he's getting divorced. It's another gross fucking Trump land story.
Haven't
Um,
heard anything about Nestor in years.
um, yeah, no, I guess the thing I would say is this, like we have leaders, not enough of them, but we do have them. The thing I have realized over and over again, these last several years is that we're the leaders we're waiting for. We're the ones who have to step up. It's not one of those situations where we can say, we need somebody to do this. It's us.
Yeah,
Like the
nobody is
people,
coming to save you but yourself.
that's exactly
And
it.
by the way,
And
Sarah says, don't forget Jasmine. And we are all in with Jasmine Crockett here.
yeah. Didn't I mention Jasmine? I thought I did. Anyway, um,
Maybe that was
I
your
I am also a
single
fan.
spotty internet moment.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Well, she's been mentioned 3 times now. That's how much we love her.
Yeah, but no, I've always been of the belief that candidates are what matters in an election. I think people will vote for an absolute scumbag if they think he's charming, as we've seen before. In fact, recently, um,
And authentic.
yeah, and I feel like
Authentic can be really shitty.
yeah, that's exactly right. I always think of that line from The American President when Michael J. Fox is talking about, people are crawling through the desert and they're so desperate for leadership they'll drink the sand. And to me, Trump is the sand.
Yeah. He
It's
is an
that.
authentic liar
Yeah,
and
that's
piece
it.
of
It's
shit.
a false authenticity. It's completely dishonest, but it's very rude and blunt, so it seems honest. Whoever we pick in 2028, I know this is sort of a long way off, but it's got to be somebody who can shoot from the hip, somebody who can just stand there and talk, without consultants, without worrying about how something's going to play on TV. It's got to be that natural authenticity, where they're just being themselves. And I know that sounds really easy to do, but it's actually damn hard. I think that was always one of the things people were demanding Hillary. Just be authentic, be yourself. I mean, how can you say that to somebody who's had over $1 billion in attacks thrown at them over several decades? Like, the idea that you wouldn't develop thick skin or start to become suspicious of people is just crazy.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, and with her, they will still be using her as like a lightning rod and fundraising mechanism
Yeah,
long after she is no longer with us.
yeah. Which is, I think anybody's ever spending time around her is so bizarre because she's actually really, really cool,
She's a
charming
great
person.
person.
Yeah,
I mean, it also reminds me of like, oh, Donald Trump. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This is the guy that literally is still talking about Joe Biden. Like,
yeah. No,
what do you
exactly.
expect, dude?
It's fucking 2020 election, and yeah, no, it's oh, but again, standards only apply to us. They don't apply to him, right?
That's very true. Especially if you pay any attention to legacy media. Okay, next we're gonna go to Sam's happy ending of the day, and I'm gonna throw this up on the screen
The way
so
you
that he can
sound that
talk.
makes it sound really dirty. I came up with it. I
I,
came up with it as a
I'm the
very
one that has said
pure.
I don't know that this is what we should be calling it, but
I came up with
I
it was a
think
very pure and noble idea. Basically, it's like we're giving people 18 fucking notes of misery and and fucking terror, and so we're going to end on a positive note. And so I called it
starting
a happy
tomorrow
ending,
we're
like from
putting
a fairy tale.
Sam's in
And
front
because
of
you're a
it.
goddamn sicko, you had to make it something inappropriate. And it's anyway.
It's
I
called
think it's
Sam's
nice.
happy ending starting tomorrow.
It's called Sam's Happy Ending, not Robert Kraft's.
Okay, that works. What was it? The
Okay. So you actually want
White
me to say
Orchid
the
or
happy ending and not
something?
just talk about it. Okay. So before we came on today, I found this story. Y'all know I'm a shitty, addicted surfer. I'm out there all the time trying to get better and really just enjoying the hell out of it. So this 19-year-old surfer in Australia went missing while he was paddled out, and his dad put out an all call, if you have a vessel that floats, help me find him. And they found him 7 miles out to sea on this like little patch of rocks, like this deserted island. Just a miracle story, a one in a million. And as his dad said, they said he got through the night, a freezing night, by keeping his wetsuit on. But yeah, just I don't know, in a world of fucking horrors and an American government that sucks butt, it's nice to see one of these stories turned out well. And I think after the week we had in Texas, we kind of needed one of these to go our way.
Yeah, I think that is right, and we should
If you
probably.
don't hear back from me, it's just because I kept paddling. I had enough of America, and I just kept paddling till I got to Japan.
Okay, George Santos. If we don't hear from Sam, you know what really happened. I'm kind of
It
kidding.
just means I made a run for it.
Yeah, you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all out here speaking up against this administration, and they're trying to press charges and tackle members of Congress on both sides of they're arresting judges. So um, all the more reason to make Sam an admin in StreamYard, so that if I'm gone, you can carry on.
That's really what you're bequeathing me, is making me an admin in a streaming app.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
I thought we were closer than that. It's
Once we get 10,000 more paid subscribers, then we can maybe bring somebody on to help us. Okay, Sandy wants your thoughts on what should really be what is Alligator Alcatraz,
mm.
um, and she thinks it should be the Dade concentration camp.
Yeah, I actually, I like that. I noticed a lot of our readers were talking about this week in the comments. We referred to it as Alligator or Alcatraz, like the media and Trump do, and we noted that we fucking hate that name because it's it puts a cutesy name on a really evil thing. And a lot of our readers are saying, it needs to be called Alligator Auschwitz. I'll tell you, I've stopped short of doing that because I believe there was only one Auschwitz, and I don't have any problem with anybody else who wants to use that name, but for me, it's just, I don't know. I like Dade concentration camp or Everglades concentration camp. To me, that sort of hits that spot while keeping Auschwitz in its singular place in infamy. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm being too sensitive, but I know it's crazy when a cussing newsletter that makes jokes about Mike Lee having rat scrotum on his forehead has like a line that won't cross, but we do have them. They're just really hard to find.
And we just found it. I'm gonna pull up. Let's see here. We got a couple other things.
By the way, if you've never had a Topo Chico, I'm going to do an advertisement. They're not giving me money for this, but it is like my favorite, most crisp mineral water, and I can't recommend it enough.
I'm gonna cut that and post it on Instagram, tag them, and see if they'll consider becoming our first advertiser. That was really good.
Thank
Sounds
you.
really refreshing. But I also
It
another
is.
product. It's very good. And Sam and I both don't drink, so we find comfort in things like that.
Yes, I love a good Shirley Temple. Don't even get me started.
Man, nothing is like a Shirley Temple. Okay, Cindy. Some say that Trump is working on this right now, called election reform equals no midterms.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think we're going to have midterms?
So this is the question we get the most. We count down. We count down the days until the midterms, and so we hear from a lot of people that there aren't going to be any midterms. I'm not willing to make that assumption yet, just because I don't want to fucking give it away before it's happened. I think to me, this is that would be the final line that Trump crosses. The reason America works is because we don't do violence. We settle our differences at the ballot box. Theoretically, if that option is taken away, then I don't know what to tell people. And our newsletter is always telling people nonviolence is the way to go. We don't want to give Trump and his goons an excuse to lock us up. Um, we also don't want to hurt people. Um, we want to be better than that, which is what America's supposed to be. But if that option is taken from us, if the right to self-governance, which is the founding principle of the United States of America, if that's taken from us, then we're not the United States of America anymore. And to me, anything goes at that point. And I just hope like hell that even Trump's dumbass is smart enough to know that that would be a bridge too far.
That makes sense to me. Let's hope that this all happens. We also have elections this year in a bunch of places, including
Yeah.
Virginia, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and 3 Supreme Court seats in Pennsylvania that nobody is talking about like we do with Wisconsin. So we're going to have to make sure to get the word out about those.
Yeah,
Claudia
man,
Miller,
that Wisconsin seat saved fucking lives. I mean, they were able to,
and
reverse.
humiliated Elon all at the same
It
time.
did. Yeah, we don't talk enough about how consequential that was. For one, it led to decisions like getting rid of the state's ancient abortion ban. It just now paved a way to make conversion therapy for gay kids illegal, which is good because that's basically just fucking torture. And it really was the beginning of the end for Elon and Trump. It's wild to think back to the first few months of this administration when those two guys were joined at the hip. I mean, Elon was everywhere Trump went. He was always in the Oval. Trump would have a cabinet meeting, and Elon didn't even sit; he stood the whole time. And then Wisconsin happened, and all of a sudden, Elon had that loser stank all over him, and it started to crumble. And then, of course, you got Elon on Twitter talking about Trump and Epstein, and yeah, shit went south fast. But I think we all knew that it would eventually. Even when they were hugging and hanging out on stage in the campaign, I think all of us were like, this really sucks, but man, the ending is going to be spectacular. And so far, that's what we're getting. Sucks for America. It's entertaining though.
Yeah, that's a balance that we have to deal with every single day, right? Especially listening to this stuff with this guy. There's a question. I may get this wrong, but anyway, there's a question in terms of whether or not you think that with Miller's, all in ice, scorched earth policy, do you think that that's going to lead to Dems getting around and compromising on larger immigration reform? And by the way, sorry, go ahead.
Democrats already did compromise on immigration reform. They had a bipartisan bill that was ready to go that would have done everything Republicans had asked for, while also having a little bit of fucking humanity. And Trump killed it. Ask Republican Senator James Lankford, what happened to that bill. Trump killed it because it would be good for Democrats. He doesn't even fucking deny that. I feel like Democrats, like on most issues, have come to this issue in good faith, well past the time when they should have. Because it became clear a long time ago, Republicans had no interest in solving this problem. They just wanted to use it for political gain. Now they want to use it as a Trojan horse to achieve their wildest, most fascist, most violent dreams. This isn't about immigration to them. It's about people with brown skin. If you're talking to a racist about how best to reform the law, they're going to want to do it in a racist way. So we're coming at this. We're having two totally different discussions, and I just don't know how you negotiate with somebody who doesn't see their fellow mankind, their fellow human, as a human.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I mean, obviously, I get what her question is in terms of whether or not that will lead to something else, but it's almost like there's just so much going on that we literally tried to do this and he killed it, and we moved on from that the same day as well, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. I mean, and it sort of goes to like one of my fundamental questions about America these days is like, do we give a shit about policy at all? I mean, if you look at what the Biden-Harris administration accomplished legislatively, it was the stuff people claim that they want to see their government doing, uh, and it didn't matter. Like, it just didn't fucking matter. So yeah, I don't know. There was a time when voters would have punished a political party for, demagoguing an issue instead of trying to do something to solve it. But I think that time has passed. Man, I'm full of
Yeah.
good news today. I know.
No, I think this is fantastic. Hold on one sec. I'm just trying to pull up. My phone doesn't die. One more thing.
Actually,
There.
while we have a
Yeah,
minute, I wanted to
go
address
ahead.
something I saw from the comments last week.
What
On
I'm going to
this,
do, I'm going to pull myself down for 30 seconds while you're talking, so I can grab
okay.
my
So
charger
I'm,
there.
so I'm talking to myself. Okay.
You're
So,
talking. You're talking to 6,300 people on 4 platforms.
oh wow. Well, shit. Now I'm nervous. No, I just wanted to. There was something in the comments from last week where one of the viewers said it's easy for Adam and I to say we're going to demand elections because of our white privilege. Uh, that's true. Um, I don't think if you're a white person in America right now who doesn't realize that you're not being targeted the way people with brown and black skin are, then you're being willfully oblivious. White privilege is very real, and you'll rarely meet a bigger beneficiary of it than me. I've been given second, third, fourth, fifth chances that a lot of people never even get a first one. Um, the reason I maybe sound so cavalier about our elections is because despite all the evidence to the contrary, I still, deep down in the very stupid part of my heart, believe believe in the promise of America. I still believe in self governments. I still believe in self determination. Uh, and my feeling is, if Trump wants to take our elections from us, he's going to have a fight because we do a lot of dumb shit in this country. But giving away our elections, I don't think is going to be one of them. So anyway, that it was just something that had been stuck in my head, and I wanted to address it. Um, it's I don't think we're very aware that we're two white guys talking about the state of America these days, um, and I kind of feel like that's why we're doing it. I think people who look like us, sound like us, have an obligation to speak up right now. And there are a lot of folks who aren't doing that because it's easier just to keep your head down and make money. And I don't know, man. I hear the concern. And I don't want to dismiss it, but I like to think we're doing this for the right reasons.
There's a lot of comments that appreciate that. Thank you for addressing that, so forth. So, um, I have one other clip, and I obviously fully endorse everything Sam just said. I have one other video clip that I just think is incredible. So I just want to play this because I feel like maybe it'll just lift everyone's spirits up that not all media out there is totally uh, dead. So, okay, here we go.
Democrat running in Colorado's most closely contested congressional district just got busted using a photo of Canadian mountains in place of Colorado mountains on his social media. It is the biggest development in that race since last week when the Republican incumbent voted to cut about $1 trillion in funding from Medicaid and other health programs. Democrat Manny Rutnell was caught using a photo of Canadian mountains instead of Colorado mountains on his social media account. The conservative media outlet that spotted it wrote, quote, "Not sure how many Coloradans live there. We do know how many Coloradans living in the 8th Congressional District are on Medicaid. About 200,000, or 1 in 3 people in Republican Rep. Gabe Evans' district. Evans just voted for the budget plan that cuts nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid and other health spending. The National Republican Congressional Committee mocked Rutnell's photo error, saying, quote, he can't even tell the difference between Canada and Colorado. One difference between Canada and Colorado is health care. In Canada, health care is universal. In Colorado, the independent health policy group KFF estimates that almost 200,000 Coloradans could lose their health coverage as a result of the Medicaid cuts Evans supported. With 16 months until the midterms, we will be watching closely to see whether Manny Rutnell's photo error or Representative Evans' vote to cut Medicaid impacts that race.
I just
Man,
think
that's how
that
you
is one of the
that,
greatest
yeah,
clips.
that's how you do it. Oh man, that poor guy, he's never getting a job at CNN. That's that is
I mean, I watched that like 3 or 4 times last night, and then I was like,
yeah.
I just need to double check that this is like a real thing, and
Oh, he
it's
nailed
just
it.
one
Yeah.
of the best I've ever watched.
I follow him
Now
on
I want to
social
tune into
media.
like all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow him on social media, and he's just constantly getting called a communist and everything else. And to his great credit, he responds to a lot of it. He reminds me of what journalists used to be. Just focused on the truth and what matters instead of giving equal time to absolute horseshit and what matters. So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
like
if you'll see
we
this,
talked about last week, the Peter
yeah.
Jennings of the world.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. He crushes it. Colorado's lucky to have him.
Well, that's all I got, Sam. Anything on your end?
No, man, I don't want to talk about happy endings anymore. I'm afraid you'll embarrass me.
I don't want to talk about me.
No, I just wanted to say how much I really am enjoying doing these weekly therapy sessions. In addition to my real therapy sessions, man, y'all are the fucking best. Thank you so much for keeping us going, for reminding us that there's a whole shitload of great people out there who are pissed off and ready to fight this shit with everything they've got. So thank you for being here. Thanks for being in this fight with us, and thanks for helping us remember that we're not crazy, at least not that fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I see one of the OGs just jumped on and said,
Yeah.
"Sorry, I'm late," so I threw that up. But we'll make sure to post the whole thing in the event you want to. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sam's audio was good the whole time. Same with his video.
Nice. Miracles do happen.
They do. All right, so I'm going to pull us off. We're going to leave it open for 60 seconds in case anybody is conversing amongst themselves, and then we'll be back next week and tomorrow morning in everyone's inbox.
Love y'all.
See ya.